G'day traders, we're going to wrap up of Monday the 30th of April. So we've got the daily chart up here. Here's the Monday that we were talking about. So approaching this particular day, definitely got to still believe buyers around. In hindsight, you can see it's actually a red candle, and we did have a fall for most of the day, even though it was a very, very low, small, tight range. But in saying that, still believe buyers around. However, I wasn't convinced that the buyers are going to be strong in any way, shape or form. When we opened up Monday, during the pre-market, did push down a little bit and looked like, I possibly thought the market might want to come down and test these support levels. These resistance levels that we've been talking about that have now become support. That very strong area between basically 385 and 390. So, and the market did kind of approach that area. But overall, I did expect, buyers and sellers. But again, you got to say that the buyers are in control, but just because the area we're in. But the fact that the pre-market was selling off a little bit, this trend's looking a little bit extended. By no means massively overextended, but there's a few green candles in a row, so we're certainly due for a little bit of red. So just to break it down, you can see overall the day, a very, very tight range. Basically, we had a 6-point drop, a little bit of movement up until 11 o'clock, and then all through 11 o'clock. I guess actually the 1 minute chart will show you better. See, there's that movement at the beginning, and then we're just stuck within this 2.5 point range the whole day, and we're just slowly grinding down. Just right at the end of the day, we did have a bit of a push up. So as far as opportunities, I must admit today was one where I really didn't see a lot at all. I wasn't really interested in much. When these markets first started pulling down, then we started to get this retracement, and the fact that there is some buyers around, I wasn't prepared to get too aggressive and look at any sort of sells straight away and look for the market to push lower, because I just wasn't sure what these markets want to do. I really wanted to see some confirmation of what they want to do. So the first pullback was just here, or retracement. So that area there, even though in hindsight looks like it has worked, but wasn't quite sure about that. I guess also just looking at it too, when it crossed up like that, it's kind of an area where you believe, because of the daily charts, that you might want to buy from. The predictors crossing up, it's kind of like all of a sudden you look like the buyers are coming back quite aggressively, and it felt like more of a buyer, and it was almost like an area that I felt like buying at. But in saying that, watching the other markets, when you see this ES retrace like this, the Russell and all the other markets were keeping a lot lower. They weren't having anywhere near the retracement that ES was having. So that suggests that maybe our bias of that there could be some sellers around based on the pre-market is proving to be having a bit of truth in it, and that a lot of the other markets are worse trying to hold low. So wasn't interested in buying here or selling for that matter. Hopefully you can understand what I mean by that. From there we pushed a bit lower and kind of bounced off these cash market lows, and we started approaching this 1390 area that's been acting as quite a strong support. And then very much just a sideways movement, and just an area where I just wasn't interested in at all. We slowly grinding down towards the afternoon. What I was looking for is some buyers, but some stronger buyers push up, breaking some resistance levels, getting back in line with these daily charts, and then forming a bit of a shoulder and then going again. You can see the buyers did come, but very much just without any confirmation. Very hard for me to get on that. I really needed some sort of shoulder, and then for it to go again, and that was probably the only thing I was remotely interested in for the entire day. Sometimes days like that do happen, but overall very tight range. I think this area here, so this power fade again, it's not anyone with major confirmation, and in the end I'm pretty sure it has worked. But I must admit, when I was looking at the market here and we pushed up, you can see on the 1 minute chart a little bit of a shoulder forming there. So if anything, this is probably the power fade of the day, but still I wouldn't call this a rock solid sort of area. It was still one that showed a little bit of danger, and because there's certainly no major confirmation of it happening, but probably the best of a day of slim pickings. But anyway, so that's Monday, quite a tight day. Start of the week, hopefully, moving on Tuesday, Wednesday, we'll start to get a bit more movement and we can really get into it. I'll speak to you guys tomorrow.